What if the universe isn't indifferent, but hostile? What if judgment and eternal damnation waits us all? What if there is no escape other than eternal doom and we are born already condemned? Welcome to episode 3 of the 4 endings of human lore. Endless damnation. God hates us all. Greetings, Harbingers. Welcome to Iliaster, PewDiePie's favorite channel, your realm of personal development, stoicism, and cyber alchemy. In today's video, yes, we are exploring the third of the 4 endings of the human lore. This is a series a mini-series, actually, I started here in the channel from a cycling home back from the gym, and I was thinking, what would the end of mankind be like? And I came with these 4 possibilities. We've already spoke about the first 2, which is endless nothingness, in which pretty much everything will be drowned into a black hole of eternal, nothingness. The non-existence will take place of existence. The nothingness will take place over the something, right? The second ending is the endless pleasure or endless indulgence, in which we overcome our own biology without letting go of the physical, but instead having it enhanced towards eternity with a dopamine source machine available in a way that we'll never get sick of it. So it's crazy mental indulgence that feels more real than ever. Transhumanism at its finest, if you will. And today we're talking about endless damnation, the third of the 4 possible endings for humanity. And I'm not talking about just religious hell per se, but every version of it, across cultures, across time, different names, but same fire. Well, let's dive in about the mythologies of hell. In Christianity, for example, we have the lake of fire, or the second death. But the roots here go deeper. We have the word Gehenna or Gehenna that comes from the Hinnom. Apologize for my pronunciation. In the valley of Hinnom, a cursed place near Jerusalem in which once children were sacrificed for pagan gods. Then later it became a burning trash pit. Eternal fire? Not yet, just plain history. In the Greek mythology, we have this place called Hades. Not exactly a place of flames, but shadows, where the dead simply exist, woven of any sort of livelity or divinity whatsoever. Just the very state, the very condition of death, manifested like a zombie, a zombification condition. That reminded me, did you remember the fight in Knights of Zodiac in Saint Seiya? Shiryu of Dragon faced Death Mask of Cancer, and Death Mask of Cancer had this attack called Seikishiki Meikaiha, Waves of Hell, something like that. And he and Shiryu went to Hades, and we could saw in that scene that the souls wandering, falling on that pit or something. And Shiryu was there, he was blind, and it's been a while since I watched it, but he somehow reaches the 7th cosmos and manages to defeat Death Mask from there, and he overcomes that condition in life. So Hades, it's a great representation in Saint Seiya, of course, which is full of Greek mythology. Death Mask explains what the Seikishiki is. I think it's an Indian name for hell or something, but it's an analogy to the Hades, which came later in the Hades saga, which is awesome. Saint Seiya is awesome. I think I'll record just a video about it. The Nords gave us Niflheim, or hell, cold, dark, ruled by a corpse-faced goddess or something. No fire there too, but eternal numbness. In Hinduism, it's Naraka, with multiple levels of torment, each tailored to the soul's sin. And for my surprise, and for your surprise maybe, even the Buddhists have a place like that. The Seekers of Peace imagine a place called Avicii or Avicii, the hell without intervals, where the damned suffer for eternity without the possibility of rebirth or reincarnation. So we have several cultures imagining this eternal damnation aspect. So many different amongst each other, amongst themselves, yet they all distillated a same pattern for some sort of eternal damnation. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. In my introductory video, I made an exercise when I briefly introduced the eternal damnation concept. Let's imagine for a moment that there is only one truth that will make a very small portion of mankind to escape this eternal damnation. One, you can call it like a religion, a philosophy, a certain faith, whatever. I won't enter in the merit here, but if we count from the very first man who existed and all humans that existed throughout all history, we're talking about maybe hundreds of billions of people. And if we consider that there is one truth that a few portion of this mankind had access to, and then we had to count that they did everything by the book, or if they had faith enough, or if their hearts were truly believing in that sort of truth or divinity, only then could they be acknowledged as worthy of enter the better place, and the rest of mankind will face some sort of endless damnation. So you may be thinking I am being childish. This example, it is kind of childish, but it's not too far away from what we have at our disposal preached by religions in general. For the sake of the example here, I'm not pointing any fingers to any religion, okay? But think for a second, if there's only one truth that we are not supposed to know, or that we will never have access, or that we don't have access, or because we don't have faith enough, because we don't obey, we don't play by the rules, it's not an exaggeration to say that just a tiny minority, like less than 1%, would be actually granted entrance to this better place. I'm not even calling it paradise or heaven or whatever, and the rest would be damned. The stakes here are highly against humanity, and I wonder where is justice and who justice needs to be served to. What drives a very thirst for divine justice? It's out of glory, it's out of something divine that we can't even start to fathom. It's out of some sort of obsession for being worshipped. There's a lot of questions, pertinent questions, that we are equipped to ask, and if we are told we are transgressing any sacred law or being heretic, well, why were we equipped with those capabilities in the first place? The deities should be smarter than us humans. Just saying. What if salvation is the very, very exception of all there is, and this standard is a bloodthirst divinity that seeks justice and to set sentences away, making billions and billions suffer for eternity? What are the actual set of rules that the very few exception met its conditions to be granted entrance? Well, to be granted not damnation, let's put it like that. I think of those things a lot, and I can't reach to a rational conclusion. At the same time, with my human limitation, you can only put so much trust in your own intuitions and your own capabilities of asking questions, but you also should expect some level of comprehension and fairness from the divine aspect, because you are granted this capability, so we should use it to make an honest dialogue. And if the intent to find the truth is honest, I hope these words reach out to whoever could answer me these questions. Now let's take a moment to talk about Samael, the light bearer. For those who don't know, Samael is the original name of the devil, of Lucifer. In Christianity, when God forsakes one, they lose their name and they are only referred with adjectives. Judas, for example, he in a sense lost his name and has become known as the traitor. And Lucifer, which means a light bearer, was also named with some adjectives like Satan, which means deceiver, father of lies, the light bearer, the morning star. I can just remember of a few now, but remember that he who is forsaken by God will receive an adjective that defines their biggest flaw. The light bringer's real name is Samael, which means venom of God. Samael, in the book of Ezekiel, was told that he was perfect in every aspect. I dare to say, considering the Christian theology, we have the Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I dare to say Samael, of course, wasn't part of the Trinity, but he was like the fourth one, and he was perfect in every way. So, before the original sin committed by Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, there was a proto-original sin prior to the human sin committed by Samael himself. Metaphor says he saw his reflection and his heart was filled with pride, and he was filled with a sense of greatness that he thought he could sit in God's throne and be higher than the highest of the highest. Therefore, he was fired from his position in the celestial realm and he was sent to earth. He didn't suffer a downgrade of his capabilities. He continues to be this exquisite being, right? But he was fired from his position. You can say that. That draws me to the following reflection. He who thinks they are too good for everything and everyone has nothing but losses ahead of themselves. So I think that gives us a hint, at least, I can only wonder about it, but that this gives us a hint that the best way to seek for perfection, this is a channel about personal development, pursuing the best version of yourself. Iliaster, the philosopher's stone, designing a universe by the palm of your hand. All these metaphors I bring here is to say seek perfection, even though it's unattainable, because there is no such a thing as perfection for us. We're always trying and running, and the imperfection paradigm is what makes things be limitless. If you think too high of yourself, if you are filled with pride and arrogance, you've nothing but losses. Because if nobody and anything is good enough for you, what do you have ahead for yourself if not losses and deception? So keeping one's feet on the ground and doing all these things with honesty and intent and your heart in the right place might just be the key to actually unlocking something greater. I'm not sure of any of this. I could be talking like the biggest crap here, the BS, but it's the truth I find convenient for me to keep walking this path and living this mortal life. On the other hand, if even the most perfect being as Samael has fallen, what's in it for us? If eternal fire is something that waits for us all regardless of culture, time, or whatever, what should we do then? What's the point of everything? I hope you enjoyed this reflection. Well, this came out as a more positive video as I thought. I wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking of something really dark. But here it is. I hope you enjoy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel. Help a brother out. It takes half a second. Let's grow this channel together. See you in the next video. El Psy Conguru.